Okay, I think we are streaming now. I will reset the playlist back to Little Nell, the first demo. Let me go check if this is showing up on the places that it should be showing up, like Twitch and SceneSet and Facebook and all that jazz. Without the adverts.
So know that my girlfriend is also watching.
Okay. So this should be okay. And now SceneSet, set live. Yes, so we should be on SceneSet now. We should already be on Twitch before, but let me confirm real quick. But yeah, okay, so we're on Twitch and we are on YouTube. We should be on SceneSet and we will also be on Facebook rather soon. Yeah, we're on Facebook now. Go live. Well, I forgot to give it a title, but I guess it's fine.
I think all the labels are wrong.
Yeah, the people are wrong because it's set for 3 people and you're currently 2. So
okay.
So yeah, but I can try to fix that. Guess I will hide this one. So or I should hide Pantaloon because Pantaloon is the one that's missing right now. Okay, so this is not no recess. This is introspec. So let me try to find introspec. Here he is. Okay, that's no recess right there.
Yeah.
Hooray!
And then by the time Pantaloon shows up, if he shows up, I'm gonna mention that sometime soon, I will have to redo all this cutting again. Because everything gets out of place again. Okay, now introspect, where are you? Introspect is somewhere there.
There is a lag. There is a lag when I move the head. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's
there is like a 10-second lag with the video.
Okay, we're good. So I'm gonna wait a little bit for people to join the stream and see what is what before I announce what the issue is with Pantaloon. Hi people watching right now. Leona is here. Well, introspec is here. I already knew introspec is here.
Okay. Okay.
But thank you for replying anyways. Sound of the demo should be a little louder. Okay. So Little Nell, I picked Little Nell to start the show because I wanted Pantaloon to talk about the TPL guys a little bit and the relation with him. But Pantaloon is not here yet because he had a family emergency. Apparently his daughter's doctor appointment took a little longer than expected. So he might show up late, he might not show up at all. We don't know. We have to wait and see. If it doesn't show up, you know, the show goes on. But it would be nicer if he would be here.
Yeah.
Nori says, I heard you got some nice talks with him at Revision.
Yeah. So yeah, about Pantaloon, and that was really fun to meet him. Yeah, but so yeah, I attended the revision. I'm not sure about your question. What was your question exactly?
Well, I'm just generally trying to make a general conversation, just so we're not all quiet.
Okay, I see. No worries. A lot of things to feel.
What were you originally? Did you originally also have a Commodore 64, or were you always an Amstrad person?
Actually, so I grew up with Amstrad machines. So I'm by heart Amstrad guy, but of course I have a lot of different machines. I have an Amiga at home. I have a C64 also. I like to get them as reference because when I do demo on Amstrad, I like to get inspired by other machines, by other demos. And
did you do any stuff for the other platforms, for 64 and Amiga?
I have some knowledge, but what is important to me is to get a point of comparison between the platforms. So, by example, I know that on the ZX Spectrum platform, they have the tiles and as the C64, but we don't have that on Amstrad, and that's interesting. This gives some ideas, some challenges, and things like that. So, yeah, basically, I'm an Amstrad guy, but I'm really open-minded. But also, I did demos in the past, back in 2000, on a lot of different platforms, also on Game Boy Advance, on PS2, on PC. Maybe I'm forgetting some, but basically, I like the demo scene in general, and more precisely the old school one, and even more precisely the Amstrad CPC.
It's very curious that people are, because the CPC scene compared with the 664, there's a lot more activity on the Commodore 64, and it seemed that the CPC was a bit dormant. Was there like a demo scene on the CPC, like in the 90s or something like that? Because I only know it from like after Batman Group did their mega demo, and after that I've been following the CPC. I know there were a few things before. Optimus used to talk about the CPC a lot as well. So can you tell us a little more about that, like the background of the CPC scene?
It's super interesting because, you know, the Amstrad scene in the 90s, of course, where it was really active. Then all the major groups of that time suddenly left the platform for other platforms. And then those people, when they left the Amstrad CPC scene, they also all the technical knowledge was actually lost with those people leaving. And it took like 10 years to just the remaining people just learn and acquire the new knowledge. So yeah, for a long time the demo were not that great, but starting 2000 we started to see a new generation of demo. In the 90s it was all about scrollers. That in 2000, we started to make some software demo or mix between software and hardware and things like that. And yeah, I will say actually it's not Batman Forever, that demo that make the Amstrad scene awake, but there were popular demos like the DTC from Arcos. It was in 2005, and it got a lot of traction on Quet.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, and the Amstrad scene right now, it's a strange beast because you have very few demos but they are all killer's demos. If you go on Quet on the history, you see that the top 10 demos are really impressive with a very good technical level, but it's like there is a good demo every 2 or 3 years only.
Yeah.
So,
it's curious because there's this parallel with the C64 scene and with the Specky scene as well, where there was this huge load of demos and then the scene sort of died out, and then only a few groups remained, but they tried to do like higher quality stuff.
Yeah, but it takes some time, just one production to leverage all the level. I mean, before Batman Forever, all the demo were, it was great, but it was like small demo with few effects and things like that. And okay, so the bar is now raised with Batman, and so that's why some other demos like here we have Phantom that we are currently watching. So the major demo with musical truck loading and things like that, those things just start to happen right now, you know, but it took like a decade for that.
And this demo in particular, I was watching it with Introspect earlier before you arrived, and we were talking about how much it almost looks like a slideshow. It's not really a slideshow, but it seems to be focused a lot more on graphics.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it was kind of failure because it was created to be a demo, but it was the people told, hey, that's a good slideshow. Okay, so I know that I was lacking. I mean that visually it was really super great. Sed is an amazing artist, but technically it was good, but it did not really use all the Amstrad PC hardware features. So yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the hardware features of the CPC? Like, well, what does it have like that you can take advantage of that hasn't already been taken advantage of?
So basically it's like a specky, okay? So that's, I would say that's the same thing, but with a different CRTC, a different video chip. It's called the CRTC.
Okay.
And it looks like it's not really powerful first because you don't have time management, you don't have hardware sprite, you don't have raster LAN interruption or thing like that. But once you really learn about it, actually it's a really impressive video chip. The most interesting feature about that is the fact we can repeat line. The same line can be repeated through all the screen, and this allows a lot of interesting effects. I will describe more about that when we will watch the PSX demo that I did for the revision. But so there is this video chip. As also we have a lot of memory on Amstrad, but the way it's used, we have a slow loading, a slow loader. Basically, you can play music while you load, but you cannot do anything else. So the extra RAM, the C64 extra RAM, we use it more for storage. So we have all the packed, all the parts that are packed in memory and unpacked in real time. And yeah, that's usually the way we do demo on Amstrad. So yeah, we have this, and we have also a palette of 27 colors. There are 3 different video modes. Yeah, more on Wikipedia, I would say.
It's very interesting, especially to compare the different characteristics between them, because you see a CPC demo and you totally notice that it's CPC, especially because of the colors. It's completely different from a C64 or Spectrum demo.
What we call the overscan, the borderless on C64, it's super easy to do on Amstrad, and actually you have to do overscan a demo, or it's not a demo. So that's one thing about the Amstrad. The Amstrad also share the same sound chip than the Specky, than the MSX, or the Atari ST also. So yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay. The introspect, what do you think about the CPC? Did you know all these little details?
Yes, I have to, because that's a competition.
No. Honestly, there is no competition.
There is competition. No,
8-bit scene.
Friendly competition.
Yeah.
You know, we're not having wars, right? We're having just friendly.
Yeah. That's how I see it. Actually.
Yeah, your main competition is Commodore 64 anyways.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think you have to be very careful before you get into fight with Commodore C.
There are a lot more of them.
Preparation.
Yeah. But honestly, I consider all the 8-bit machines now. They're mostly the same in the way it's. The way we create demo, we have all the same challenges. Of course, it's different hardware and things like that, but overall, you know, there is clearly a different pipeline for 16-bit demos or even PC and things like that. So
I agree with this. I think in the way we design effects and the way we show things, it's the challenges are the same, and the key ideas to do things are the same. But at the same time, I think there's a difference, because I would say that each of our scenes have slightly different style. And I think this slightly different style makes it means that we kind of try to fight different challenges in slightly different ways. That's all.
So that's why it's pretty rare when you are in a demo party where all the production are merged in the same compo. Sometimes okay, you have to make top one, or you have to get all the demos together, but honestly, they are all unique for the platforms. And
Precisely.
It's already hard to compare demos between each other, even when they are on the same platform. When they are in different platforms, it's even harder. But I really like those compos, like the Real Wild compo on the Revision, for example. It used to be one of my favorite compos. I was thinking of the Real Wild at Breakpoint, actually, not at Revision. But I think the legacy still remains. Like, you have all these different platforms and they all have like their best demo. It's not filler demos. And I think that really helps a lot to make an interesting competition.
You know, when you make an 8-bit demo nowadays, or at least in my demo, what I try to do is, of course, there are the technical challenges of the platform, but I like to tell that, okay, I'm doing a demo show, and I know that most of the watchers will watch the demo actually on YouTube.
Yeah, nowadays.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, but all the vision will be through the YouTube. Then eventually some emulator, and nobody is watching demo on real machine anymore. So I'm sorry about that. Of course, there are like 20-30% doing that. But so yeah, I like to the approach I have with the demo, the old school demo is it's a show, and I have to play it on YouTube. That's why I dislike, for example, the cheat parts, the hidden parts in the demo that we did in the past. I don't do that anymore because I want people to watch the whole demo.
Then you do a special YouTube capture with just the hidden part.
Yeah.
And put the video private so no one can see it unless they know the secret link.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
This is amazing demo playing at the moment. I mean, I just every time I watch it, I just love it so much.
The original idea behind playing this demo is because it was one of Pantaloon's first C64 demo, and Pantaloon was supposed to be here with us. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency, so he's running late. We're not sure if he's gonna make it at all or not. If he is, he will crash the place, and we will add him to the conversation. Otherwise, we will just keep the show going with norecess and introspec. Oh, I didn't formally introduce you guys properly. So this is norecess. He's from Condense, an Amstrad CPC guy, as he was telling you, and this is introspec from 500 Groups, and he's currently living in the UK, and he's from the ZX Spectrum scene. So we have a little bit of a clash between two retro computing platforms, and I wanted to have Pantaloon because Pantaloon has been active on the C64 scene lately, so that would have been a really nice triangle of discussion of all the different retro platforms. But I think we will survive.
With the demo we are currently watching right now, it's funny because on the C64, to be honest, they have the best demos, and I really think about that. In the way they present the different effects and sometimes it gets really creative, and they really have some strong design and nice idea. And usually I think that the C64 demo are really good show to watch. Also, what I think about the C64 demos, sometimes it seems to be too long. I think there are demos that
15-minute demos.
Yeah, it's just too much, and I actually wonder who can watch those demos completely. To me, the demo should last 5 minutes, 7 minutes, big max. But after that, it's really huge.
Yeah, but usually most of the part of the C64 demo is a scroller, saying all the stuff that you already knew before.
Yeah, it depends because I get really bored by the big scroller with a beautiful bitmap and with static text on top of that. It seems like every demo sounds like that on C64. But otherwise, when you see the effect that we are currently watching, I mean, it's amazing, and I really love that, especially if you consider the C64 restrictions. It's really slow. They have a great video chip. I mean, with the Rastaman interruption, the tiles, and you have also some kind of high-res mode, and I really enjoy that. But
they have sprites. Are there sprites on the CPC?
Yeah.
Yes. Sprites. No.
Yes and no. Actually, the Amstrad machine, there are two main machines on it. You have the classic Amstrad that is mostly a bit like the Specky, and then Amstrad in the 90s tried to make the Amstrad Plus, and also a console. So that machine has more color, has hardware sprite and things like that. And we started the great demo started to appear lately for that. But it's an underrated platform right now, the Amstrad Plus. But and also that was stupid from Amstrad. They came super late. I mean, the C64 had sprites, better implemented sprites in '82 than the Amstrad did 8 years later. So that was stupid.
I remember there was another version of the C64 as well with more colors. I don't remember what it's called anymore. I think maybe was it DTV? I don't know. What was it called?
Yeah, I don't really know much about that hardware.
Or C128? I'm not sure anymore.
C128 is a very strange beast. It has Z80 inside, it has CPM computer inside. It's like two computers combined into one. So once again, it's a strange thing. I don't think the Commodore scene likes it very much because they don't do many things there.
Yeah, there are not many demos for it, that's true. I skipped the credits part of that Fairlight demo because we are on a budget today. In the time budget, we have to end by 5 o'clock, so it's in 1 hour and 10 minutes because the Sounds of SceneSat will be playing afterwards. So we have this demo just to introduce Introspec. This was one of your demos. I think it's one of the demos that you are most proud of, Introspec. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, so this is a demo for classical ZX Spectrum. When you talk about ZX Spectrum, people usually think about two hardware setups. The classical hardware setup, which everyone agrees with, is 48K ZX Spectrum, which comes with no sound chip, with no video chip really. So it's very, very hands-on machine. So this demo is using this very, very classical configuration. So the only sound which you can produce here is by manipulating an output bit in a single port. So it's basically 1 or 0. So this demo is, it's a beeper, yeah. So this demo is basically making a point of playing a beeper track and showing some visuals. Okay. So that's technical challenge here. But otherwise, well, I think I agree with a lot of what norecess said. We definitely look at C64 for the prototype of what can be done with an 8-biter. I think it's a lot of inspiration, a lot of technical ideas, a lot of visual ideas. They are very, very strong. But I think that there are differences in our platforms which mean that style of our demos changes. So, for example, on ZX Spectrum, it is possible to download stuff while you're playing the demo. There are some demos which do this. But the machine is not really designed for this. As a result, the number of demos which do this is not particularly large. So we tend to work with a slightly different configuration from the configuration which is used at the moment. We tend to work with a computer which comes with a sound chip and which comes with 128K of memory. Because in that configuration we can preload enough stuff to have enough content to show for the few minutes.
Well, most Spectrum demos that we see on the databases nowadays are for the 128K.
Absolutely.
But then there's this version that the Russians use that has multicolors. Can you tell us a little bit about the whole multicolor and splitting the spectrum scene?
It doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Let me get this story straight, okay? So first of all, we do not have a special spectrum with multicolor. I mean, we do, but it doesn't count. It's not really a standard scene machine, right? So the standard scene machine in Russia is different from the standard scene machine everywhere else because it was created as a clone of ZX Spectrum. And ZX Spectrum has a annoying feature where the video chip slows down the CPU when the image is showing. So that means that all your raster effects are very, very, very difficult. So now you're watching a demo which is going to use a lot of raster effects, I mean, this demo is basically made out of raster effects. So this Russian machine was special because different hardware design meant that video chip and CPU are using memory completely independently, no delays. So this means your raster effects are much, much, much easier to do. So that meant that Russian scene, which was basically created in the 90s, they really loved it and they really exploited this and they really developed it and it's still being developed, as you can see. So you will have these effects which some of those effects will include border as well. So that's rasters beyond the screen, real-time drawing basically, something like this.
Which for the CPC, they do this with the basic CPC.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're not being competitive today, are we?
Not at all.
No.
Okay, but this effect is not possible on the standard 120K. It's only possible on the Pentagons from Russia, right?
That's not true, not true. It is possible on standard 128K, but you have to do more work.
How do you mean more work?
More work means you have to, first of all, you have a little bit less time for updating the colors. Okay. It also means that your program has to detect which specific model you're dealing with, and then use a slightly varied version of the code for that specific model.
Okay.
So you can see why some Russian sceners prefer to just create a demo and be done with it, and they say, well, this is your
problem to deal with.
Take it or leave
You're the ones who don't have the Pentagon, so.
Well, I mean, I think the argument usually goes like this. Pretty much every European demo has been hacked in Russia to play on Pentagon, well, more or less correctly, right? So they say, well, if you want to watch our demos, what prevents you from taking our demos and fixing them for your computers? So, yeah, it's a bit... It's not completely nice, but, yeah, you get all kinds of attitudes.
Okay, so the demo that we watched was The Deep by Seep Crew. It was released at... Damn, I'm forgetting the name of the party. Was it Forever? Maybe it was Forever?
Yeah, that's right. That was the first place on the ZX compo in Forever.
And this demo was also released at Forever, but it's for the Commodore 64. And I forget the name. It's Cheerful to the Bone by Hokuto Force. 64. It's a little more traditional C64 demo, you know, just one effect. And it's not even a scroller, it doesn't scroll, but they wanted to scroll it, I think. Because there's this more traditional way of doing 64 demos, which was derived from the crack scene thing, where we only had one screen, one effect, slider on the top or on the bottom, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then there was this whole evolution to try to get design and like, what's it called, mega demo into it, multi-parts and all that kind of stuff, and that completely evolved the scene aesthetics.
To be honest with you, I don't like this design from the demo we are currently watching. By design, I'm telling that a writer like that, you know, when you want to show something, it gets quickly boring. You need to get stuff moving quickly, and the effects, they are good, but you need some more, you know, more proper transition and things like that. I like, there are two things that I like when I watch demo. I like the demo itself for the effect, the presented effects, but also what I like is the attention to the details. I mean that I like when it's polished and it shows. And here I feel like, okay, I'm doing some effects, I'm going to add a top writer at the top, and okay, good is it. That's,
no time for more. Maybe they ran out of time, you know. Instead of.
But you know, it's, still what I'm currently watching is a great demo. I can see nice effects, something like that. But yeah, overall, the overall presentation of that.
Okay, I'm really sorry. Just
Telephone call for introspect. Introspect while 3, please.
just waiting for the button. Okay.
Maybe it's Pantalon, who knows? Yeah.
That's fine. We will move on to revision demos. And
sure.
we have some Amiga stuff before. So, norecess, tell me, were you active on the Amiga scene? Because I know a lot of people were active on the French Amiga scene, and usually.
Yeah, and actually, I have a lot of friends that are still active. I know the Deadliners guys pretty well. Salut Sundi. And the Amiga is another inspiration for me. I mean, I love the demo, and in the demo that in the modern demo I did, I took my inspiration from the 64 and Amiga demo together. And when I created the PHX demo that we will see later, I really had in mind Amiga and not C64.
Okay.
But the nowadays about the Amiga scene, I'm a bit. I feel like they could actually do more than that. I mean, it's a 16-byte machine. That's my general feeling. I think that with the top 8-bit demo actually push the machine far more than what they do on the Amiga. That's my feeling. It's a personal opinion. This may not be true for everyone.
They complain a lot that it's also hard to get those Amiga machines nowadays. They're hard to get because they're not manufactured anymore. How hard is it to get a CPC machine nowadays?
I would say that's you know that stupid thing on eBay where some people sell the machine with the rare. It's rare. No, it's not rare at all. We are talking about millions of machines that has been sold. So no, it's still easy to find machine. Of course, you have different price. If you want it for tomorrow, you have to usually pay a lot for that. But if you just search quickly, you can get a good machine for cheap. So,
on the chat, Truck is saying that he doesn't have a CPC and he has a lot of machines, so clearly it's hard to get. I don't think that's the best measure of comparison, but yeah, I get your point, Truck.
yeah. If you want it, you can get it. That's my point. That's you. Actually, I would say it's part of the motivation process. Are you interested in the machine, or are you interested enough with the machine?
Yeah.
It all depends of if you can acquire or not the machine.
But there's something interesting with the Amiga guys, because there are a lot of Amiga people doing demos for the Amiga and they don't actually own an Amiga. They do stuff on the emulators and then ask someone to test if stuff is working. Do you guys on the CPC scene do this as well, or most of you actually have a CPC?
No, actually I don't have one CPC, but I have like 5 CPC.
Oh my god.
I mean that on Amstrad you have different video chips. I mean you have one video chip.
So you have to test on all of them?
But yeah, there are different variants of it, because actually when Amstrad created the machine, they just pick the one that were the cheapest, the one to make the mass production, thing like that. And so basically, when you make a top demo, you have to ensure that it works on the most video chip possible. The emulators are really good, pretty good. But I like to test on the real hardware, because that's what really matters in the end.
Do you still see some difference between the emulator and the real hardware? Like, are there like some models of the chip that are not as well emulated or something like that?
By example, you have something that you have to be aware of. I did not find a perfect emulator just for the monitor, the screen monitor. Nowadays, you have the standard Amstrad monitor, by example, but even with Amstrad machine, sometimes you have one line that may be moved or things like that. There may be minor difference, but that matters for demo. And Yeah, and also for the disk emulation, you know, when you start to make a really advanced demo, there is no perfect emulator yet. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like zero-day exploits for the emulator, trying to find the bugs. It's only a real demo if it breaks the emulator.
So the video is paused?
No, it's playing right now. We have a demo from Unique. I think he got third place at the compo.
Okay.
Just a refresher watch together if it's
okay.
stuck.
That's okay. It was stuck.
So sorry.
No problem.
It's okay.
Yes.
Welcome back. This is playing right now. It's part 2 Horizons. And yeah, I think it got third place. Let me confirm what position it got at Revision. So we're currently already watching the stuff from Revision 2018, just the old school demos. So first we will do the Amiga stuff, and then we will do the combined old school compo.
The demo we are currently watching, that's exactly the demo I really enjoy on the Amiga. I mean, you know, I don't like the Demoscene, the modern Demoscene, sorry, but I'm really a bit old school. I like to consider for me the best part of the Demoscene was between 95 and 2000. And even on PC, you know, when the Amiga programmers started to program on the PC, so they started to make Amiga demos on PC. And basically, I like you know, when you add one object to show with the background and things like that. I like this thing, and on Amiga, they usually have good taste with that. And this also goes with some personal audio choice. I mean, I like when it sounds a bit techno and things like that. And yeah, so
I think Alkama will agree with you, especially with the techno part. I know Alkama is in the channel, so we will happily agree with you that he wants more demos with techno sounds.
Yeah.
But it's curious because on the PC we had a lot of hatred for the 3D flybys. I mean, there were a lot of them, but people started going, okay, maybe we can do some design stuff instead of, you know, 3D flybys.
And they completely lost me with that. I mean that, you know, I'm from the old school scene where I want to see one screen, then another screen, then one other screen. A flyby where you have a city that is building slowly and things like that. I'm not interested in that anymore. I mean that we have movies, we have things like that, and yeah, that's the way I
okay, those are our tastes in demos, I guess. So you don't like 3D accelerated stuff at all?
No, there are still some really impressive stuff, especially with the intros, but I really like to be surprised. That's and for the vast majority of them, I'm a bit bored about it. But I like the the Cocoon demo. I like them. They still have a good style, good stuff to show, and because it's not a flyby, but they're still doing deformation, metaballs, and things like that. That's the demos I like on PC.
Yeah, Cocoon is a very good example of Amiga-style demos that got transformed and abused PC technology, because they were originally or they are related to the Amiga French scene, at least.
Yeah, and actually one of their coder, ATC, is coming from the Amstrad scene. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still watching Unique Horizons Part 2 or Part 2 Horizons. Yeah, Alkama is mentioning Syndrome. Yeah, I remember there were some collaborations between Cocoon and Syndrome in the early 2000s and late 90s.
Yeah.
And even I think there was like a demo last revision or something that was also Cocoon Syndrome. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I admit that I don't know much about the recent work. But I used to love the Syndrome. Well, there was Math that was an audio artist, and I really loved the work he did at that time. Yeah.
Alkama is saying that Gil was in Syndrome. Yeah, he was in both groups. That's probably one of the points that generated so many collaborations between them. I think Nitrik was also in both groups.
Yeah, but overall, if we just about Cocoon, what I like is it's not a flyby. They have their engine. They probably reuse a lot of code between demos, but I like they still consider like, okay, it's a room. There is one room, a flyby in the room, but usually they deform it. They introduce a major effect in it, and that's what I enjoy.
Okay. Anyways, the demo we're watching right now is Excel from Ephedrina, which is also a very interesting Amiga group. I really love the stuff from Ephedrina. I loved their sense of design on their demos, and I really love that they still try to push the hardware. And this is another case of the coder not having access to the real hardware and sending it across from China to Norway just so it can get tested on the real hardware, and then feedback and say, oh, this part doesn't work, this part works fine. So I really love watching this demo.
Yeah. You know, the design is great, but that's exactly what I told when I felt like, okay, it's not pushing the limits of the machine. I may be completely wrong because I never program on the Amiga, but...
I heard there are some effects here that are using specific parts from the hardware, and they only work on 50 Hertz. I'm afraid that I might be saying something wrong, so if someone from the Amiga scene that knows this shit, please correct me. Sure.
No, but I just want to talk a little bit in defense of this style of demo making. You see, I kind of hate meta figures with I don't know what, with tentacles.
Spike balls. They're called spike balls.
How many tentacled balls can you really watch? I mean, seriously.
We could try to do a world record for spike balls on screen. That's a good idea. Thank you for that, introspec.
Well, I will make sure I will down thumb that on point. But
I'm sorry, go on.
More seriously, for this demo, you see, I think it's a very nice contrast, because this is now aesthetics of early 2000s. You can say this is aesthetic of those demos. This is where you have demos with layer upon layer upon layer of stuff, and they move independently. And this is a kind of aesthetic which I find a lot more interesting. Now, it doesn't really have flybys.
Yeah,
I don't know. So you see, it's not just some meta shape, which is cool, but it also has to have some kind of design element on top and below. And I mean, this is actually an example of a simple scene. There will be more complicated scenes sometimes in demos like this. And I think this is something which we can all aspire on our really crap 8-bit computers.
Yeah, actually, the scene we are currently watching is pretty impressive.
No, but you see, I think the way I look at it, you're right. There's no point trying to compete with big platforms nowadays, because our computers are so far behind. They're not competitive. That's just the truth of it. So now our limitations should be our stylistic choices, really. So it's like, you know, in poetry they do not complain they have to rhyme. They just rhyme. So we don't complain that we haven't got enough colors. We just create designs with not many colors in them. And
you could always not write poetry and write, you know, prose instead.
Yeah, but that's just, you know, this
different.
is a way of weaklings.
Yeah.
We can do better. So I think this is very nice to see this kind of borderline designs before everything becomes really three-dimensional, etc. This is still very, very stylized. This is not pretending to be real.
I really look forward for the next demo, the one from the Deadliners.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the Deadliner stuff, especially by graphics. You don't really see 2D graphics in demos that much anymore, and having that in a proper demo, it's like a breath of fresh air. At least on the PC scene, you don't see it as much. It's always, you know, 3D. There is no real 2D graphics. You don't see those little animations that you used to see. And on the Amiga scene, there is like a whole legacy of using all that stuff. Hello Format, welcome to the channel, thank you for following. We were just talking about how you are not active on the Spectrum scene and you should be more active. Well, not now, earlier, but... You were specifically saying that there should be a demo party in the UK for the Spectrum scene because there are at least 3 active demo sceners there, or 4 active demo sceners there. So there should be like a demo party just for the Spectrum scene alone. Anyways, back to the Deadliners demo.
Yeah.
I really like this demo. So norecess, please go ahead.
So you discuss about that. Look at this; it's just wonderful. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're not discussing it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and yeah, I had the pleasure to watch the programmer ending the demo at the party place, and it was really funny because it's a different machine. But I was really surprised to see Sandy, which is the coder. We basically had the same kind of pipeline to make the demo. I mean, we were both in Visual Studio to create, to generate the data, and then we had an assembler just to that would read that processed data. And so it was completely different platform, but the same kind of mindset to make a demo, and that was really funny.
Do you guys use a lot of tools that are only available on PC to do stuff for your demos? I know the C64 scene uses that a lot. Like they do a lot of calculations on the PC, and then they import the data and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are there like cross compilers? Like, can you from Visual Studio directly compile and see it working on the emulator immediately?
Maybe introspec. It will be interesting.
Precisely. My whole workflow is Windows. I think that this balance between Windows machine and Spectrum, or maybe Amstrad CPC, or maybe Amiga, is precisely what's enabling progress in these demos nowadays. We can pre-calculate much more complex things. We can do much more non-trivial pre-calculations. We can create assets which were just not feasible at the time because of computational expense.
Maybe I can have a talk about the Amstrad scene, because there is a weird thing with that scene. Actually, half of the scene is still using the real machine to program. And especially the guys at Vanity or some at Benediction, I think like that. And whereas there are other people like me that use a PC to make demos, and there are different scopes, but I don't watch the demos the same way, knowing that, okay, I'm using a PC and I have all the processing power and all the storage stuff, versus one guy that use the slow CPC, and especially considering the large source code that you have to split and all the packing and all the things to generate. Well, it's so I have a lot of respect to those guys. And maybe I can just describe my pipeline the way I work. Basically, I use C#, so Visual Studio, and I just create command line tools that will generate the data, that will convert the bitmap that my artist does, and same thing for the audio. I did everything. Every conversion tool is created by me. Then yeah, after that I use a track loader system to make a disk image, and but we also have an excellent simulator on Amstrad's PC that is called Win8. And this thing is really nice because you have the emulator and you have an integrated assembler, and it's extremely powerful, and I really mean it. So the way I work, I have Visual Studios, the emulator, and also a good text editor just to edit the assembly code. But I like to keep things really simple. I mean, usually I don't like using tools made by other people, because at one point I will be blocked in the process. You know, take a general purpose image converter, then if you want to convert the data to your own format because you have an effect or something like that, that's why I've written my own tools, and also because this allows me to better understand the machine and how it works, something like that.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'm curious if most old school platform coders also have like their Windows setup. From what I've been hearing, it seems that they do. They do like most stuff on Windows and then they export and just test stuff on the
people also work on Linux. I know quite a few people working on Linux solely. I think it's more down to personal choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also have some people on Spectrum who try to do everything on real Spectrum. They would use real platform assembly. They would program everything there, etc., etc.
And also, I have to say that so I'm working in the video game industry for 18 years now.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I'm a tools programmer. So that's why I'm really fast, and I use what the tools that are the way I'm used to.
Yeah, that's something that new Demosceners don't really realize, that you spend more time coding the tool to make the demo than you actually spend working on the demo. Like the first demos you do, you just code effects straight away, and then you think, maybe I could do this tool that would simplify this process. And you end up having like 5, 10, 12 different tools, like every demo is a different tool, just to do this single or couple effects that you can then tweak a little bit.
And you know, there is a special thing while you make a demo. It's not true that you just sit in front of your computer and start coding. A lot of time I use just my commute time, you know, in the train or the bus, something like that. And I'm thinking about the demo, what could be good, what would work, and things like that. So it's the Demoscene is really a way of life.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. That's why a lot of people say that it's a way of life, because you're spending most of your days thinking how you're going to work on this demo, and then you go home and you have this half an hour where you can do something and you try it, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. So we completely discarded comments about the great Amiga demo, but yeah.
Enkush says hello from Specky Chat on Telegram. Apparently there's a Specky Chat on Telegram. Hello, Specky Chat on Telegram. How you guys doing? They're mostly Russian speaking. Okay. Wasn't Telegram banned in Russia, or was it China?
Well, it was, but Telegram was very good at avoiding the ban. So basically, they ended up blocking 20 million IP addresses, breaking Google, Twitter, and some other stuff in the process. And Telegram survived all that. So it was a lot of fun during the last couple of weeks.
So censorship never truly works. There's always some way to go around it. Anyways, that was that for the Amiga compo. Now we are, or no. Alright, I'm not quite sure what this is. Is this what? Let me check the results. Oh, this is the Amiga 64K winner. Okay. By Oxyron and Desire. It's called Oxire, aka Oxier. My German accent is a bit rusty right now. I apologize. Currywurst, Oxier. No, not there. But something like that. Anyway, 64K, but Amiga style, clearly.
You know, when you see Oxyron, Desire, that's big names.
Yeah. And, Desire has been making a big name for themselves. On the last couple of years, they grew a lot in members and quality of release.
I'm pretty jealous about this screen. It's wonderful. It's simple. It's easy. No, it's not easy at all.
It's not easy at all.
If they didn't have the shadows, easy. Maybe it would have been easier.
But I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
But you're right. This is one of those screens when I was watching, I was thinking, I've got to think how to make this.
That's it. Oh, that's one screen.
It's already done. That's a pity.
Okay, I'm gonna skip to the next one. I think next we have some stuff from the CPC. Yeah. It was the 4K from Vanity, Isometricum.
Yeah, that was a really nice surprise to see that production. The idea, you know, using the isometric view, like we are going to see. I saw some C64 demo using that technique, but it's underrepresented, I would say, in the scene. When I saw that, I told to myself, "Hey, that's cool. That's nice." And since it's vanity, they really implemented this the best way possible. I really enjoy that. It's not like, oh, it's just a scroll. No, it's not just this. And let's remember, it's a 4K. It's a 4K production, and yeah, I really enjoy that this thing. And when we will see this at half of the demo, we think, okay, it's done, and then boom, there is a second part. Yeah, I really enjoy that.
I was sitting with a person who was not very technical. She was like a designer. She still is a designer. And she was asking me, so why are people clapping right now? I have no clue. I'm like, because it's 4K. It's like, it's so small and there's multi-scenes. Yeah. It's not just one. People think that's it. And there's more.
Yeah, that's... I never did 4K. I still prefer that, you know, since you have a good effect, well, I will ask my artist to make good graphics for it, and then good music.
And then you always end up with a demo.
Yeah, so...
How about procedural graphics? Have you tried doing tools for doing procedural graphics and do an intro?
No. No.
You're too tired of making regular tools.
The problem, the issue with procedural graphics is to make a good result with that. And yeah, it's difficult for me. I don't have. I think I don't have the skills, honestly, to make a good thing with procedural. Yeah, it's important to know the limit, what we can do also. Yeah. So that's it. That's supposed to be the end of the 4K. And then...
It's not. You were just preloading.
And the interesting challenges with the 4K is also about the packing, the compression. I'm really amazed to see on forum the progress that has been done lately on that, because there is still... You know, when I started to back making retro programming, the Bitbuster was the top packer. Then Exomizer was the new top packer. And then there is Shrinkler, that's the name, that's a packer that has been created originally on the Amiga. And then Rududu made a part of it for the Z80. And it's amazing because it's amazing to compare the progress with that. And I feel like it's not done yet. Yeah, it's still the same thing, but you can always push the envelope further. It's really interesting.
It's curious to hear about packing systems for 8-bit, because I don't do coding for those platforms, so I only know the Windows packers that exist, but it seems there is some overlap, like what can be reused. Obviously you have less CPU power, so it needs to be slightly different to be able to uncompress stuff.
This demo, so we are watching a new another demo, that Vanity. I will pause it at one point. I will pause the video because there is something that I really want to underline about that demo, and I have a lot of things to say on that production.
You're good friends with the Vanity guys, right? I remember you did like this post report of their previous revision demo where they did a lot of hacks on like having 3D stuff with animation.
Well, to be honest, so I'm going to put on pause because there are a lot of things. So you said that I'm friends with Vanity. Not exactly. I would say that in the past we had really some hard words each other. I mean, it has been pretty intense. I did demo and they did some critiques on it, and I personally took it the wrong way. And anyway,
so they're rivals. Okay.
That was oh, are you still there?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
There is a pop-up on your
Just
window,
wait,
but you're still here. Refresh.
Okay, well, rename now.
And now we'll never know what he wanted to say about Vanity.
Well, we know the most important thing. They're not exactly friends.
the rivals, and that was the last we heard of No Recess.
This might be vanity streaks.
No, I don't know if I should unpause the demo or not, or if he's coming back soon.
Hopefully.
Like the only part where he was specifically to speak only him. Come on, No Recess, you can do it. He's out of internet, maybe. I don't. He's not responding at all.
Okay.
I guess we'll play the demo, and when he comes back, we will pause it again. Otherwise, we will run out of time for the show. So I'm gonna unpause this.
Okay. Okay.
Are you here?
Yes. Welcome back.
We had an issue with this thing. Is it just me, or
yeah? Now you're back.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Honestly. So are we still paused on the Vanity screen?
Yeah, well, we know what happened. It was the Vanity guys that didn't took lightly to you. You're calling them rivals and decided to hack the stream. So everything
is. It true?
No, I'm joking.
No.
But go on. You were gonna say about this demo.
You know,
and
they do amazing thing with their Amstrad, so I will not surprise that they will connect and hack the Pentagon. Anyway, so lots of things on that screen once again. So the Vanity guys, just to get quick on that, I never met them before, and it was only with internet, and we had conflicts each other. I realized that meeting them for real at the revision for the first time, actually, that was not that bad.
You were thinking you were gonna kill each other? Like, come on.
Yeah, you know, because I don't like those guys. I don't know how to discuss. And finally, no, it went well.
How did you do the interview to know all their secrets from the previous demo? If you guys were rivals? Like, you just asked them for the secrets. Hello, can you tell me all your secrets? And the guys, sure, I'll make a whole article explaining everything in detail. Like, how the hell did that happen?
But that's anyway. That's the way. But still, there are still some. You know, those guys. They enjoy to make some. I don't like personal attacks, even if it's considered as funny, because sometimes the reception will not consider this as it's not funny. And so, yeah, there are a few things that I still don't like, but overall, the guys, I enjoy the communication I got with them. So just to get back on the Vanity, this screen we are currently watching with the guy at the right and the keyboard at the left. It may seem like nothing, but it was the most technical stuff released at the revision, and for years, a long time ago.
Why? Because it's outside the borders?
No, it's all in Overscan. Don't you have any idea, if you look closer to that, about what is so special in that screen?
I must say that I don't.
Okay. So at the right part of the screen, you have what we call the mode 0. So it's a low-res mode, but with a lot of colors. And on the left side of that picture, you have the keyboard, and it's made in mode 1. So it's 4 colors.
So it's vertical split line. Okay.
Yeah, and to tell you how far they went with that, it means that, you know, you are used to the VBL, the vertical blanking stuff. So it's like one monitor per frame, you have one VBL. So I won't enter too much in the details. But basically, when you have the horizontal blanking, the HBL, that also exists. So for all horizontal lines, and you can only change video mode on Amstrad if at each HBL. And what they did, you have the keyboard at the left and the guy at the right, and in the center you have that dark, that black vertical column. It's it's normal to get it because it's actually it shows the HBL. It's the short time that the Amstrad need to make this stuff. But basically, this screen is super technical, and
I had no idea. I'm glad you're on the show to tell us this.
And that's a real pity because they were ranked fourth with this production at the revision, but only the people that are aware about the Amstrad, but with a good technical knowledge, it's like 10% in the world, will actually understand the screen and will consider that, wow, it's super impressive. So I really wished to show that. So
okay.
Let's continue the demo, but yeah, it's impressive. And so talking about design, the Vanity demo in general, they are like no others. I mean, you know, there is a pattern, the C64 demo, there is a pattern also on the Speaky demo, but here they just push the limits so far that they have their own design and they have the chance. So basically, it's a team of there is one programmer, X, and Beb, the graphician, the artist, and they make things together, and this is the result, and it's amazing what they do. So I really enjoy the production, and that's the same thing for that screen.
There is a question on the chat. Truckis was asking if on that image where there was this white part on in between the horizontal black part, was that like a sprite that was covering that?
The right horizontal bar, I did not think about that, but I'm sure there is a trick. You cannot make a color in the HBL, but it's always dark, it's always black, but they did it. So maybe it's actually not that specific line. It was probably back to a normal horizontal line, and they made it with a raster or something like that.
Okay.
And this thing also is completely crazy. You know, when the letters will be rotating, it's super technical, and even myself, I did not really understand how they did it, but they did it. So that's the paradoxal thing with Vanity. I think they really push the machine very, very far, but at the same time, it went so far that few people are really able to understand the
but that's great. I mean, that's awesome. That's what we live for, to understanding on the demo scene. You're seeing those little details.
And they continue to. Personally, I'm really impressed by their work. That's great.
Because they're really exploring the platform, you know. They don't just make a demo for that platform. They really understand it and try to push the limits and see what they can do within those limits.
It's not just about exploring. They already explored the platform. So yeah, this is super crazy. Yeah. On the other side, I'm not fan of the music in this demo.
Introspec, what do you think about this demo?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, this is the problem of the old school. Once we get way too technical, a lot of the time we actually then have to explain what people have just seen. And you know, there's nothing worse than explaining the movie you just made, or explaining the lyrics you just wrote, or explaining what this movie actually meant, because this basically means that you didn't understand what it meant. It basically means that there was no special information connected by this technicality. So, I mean, I as a coder, right, I really appreciate, because I go into these rabbit holes on a regular basis. But as a designer, I'm trying to stop myself sometimes from doing so, when I'm recognizing that what I'm doing now is probably going to be very, very difficult for people to appreciate, to enjoy. Except if I tell them, which makes the whole thing really pointless.
On the C64, they have this tendency to have like a long text explaining all the limits, and then do a screen breaking all those limits.
No,
and that really works well on demos. Like, this is not possible. Here, now try to figure it out.
Yes, but I mean, it's so 1990s for me. I cannot
That's
possibly
true.
do this in my demo. I just hate it. I just hate it passionately. And also, you say they have different pacing in C64, so they have time for this. The pacing I tend to use, I will have 10 to 20 seconds per effect. I have no time to explain. I show things.
Yeah. But here you see, I'm not completely fan also about the design itself. It's too long to watch, and personally, I don't like those squares that you have to.
This is more like the ending screen than.
Yeah, but basically, you have to remember the technical side of things in that demo.
No, this is very good that you explained it, because I wouldn't understand otherwise. That was definitely good.
This is Gnork by Desires for the VIC-20. And I think he got placed third place on the compo. Check. Yep, third place. VIC-20 has been getting a lot of entries as well on the last few years. Like it was mostly popularized by Visnut. He made a few demos on it that became really famous, Robotic Liberation and a whole series of robotic intros. And then a few guys in Finland picked up VIC-20, and now it's a lot of people been picking up VIC-20 more, which is pretty cool.
You know, I'm super impressed by those. You have the old school platforms, and those one, it's like old school platform. I mean, you know, the Commodore PET, the VIC-20, the Atari, the old Ataris. That's their platform. That it's too old school for me. Too much restrictions and things like that. Yeah. But still, it's super impressive to see that sometimes they do effects that even on more powerful machine you will not be able to do that. Yeah, I'm really impressed.
Checking the time, we have 20 minutes left. I think we're good. I think we're okay. Let me check how many demos we still have left to play. 1, 2 from Revision, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Multimatograph. Might be too many, so I'll skip a little bit some of this. Let's see. Alchema is making fun of you, saying that VIC-20 has too many restrictions because you code on CPC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alchema's threshold is the Amiga 500, apparently. Alchema, did you code for the Amiga 500? I thought you only coded PC stuff. I knew you originally had an Amiga, I didn't know you coded it. Do not like chunky new school. So it will have planar instead of chunky? Oh,
That's interesting, because they just showed chunky new school to us. So now they changed in the tag.
Yeah. I was really impressed by that. But of course, I guess lots of things are pre-calculated here.
yeah.
But still, that's impressive.
This is very typical thing on the C64. At least you see a lot of pre-calculated physics, and they just have the animations there, and they just show the results of the pre-calculation.
Yeah, you know, I'm impressed by the performance, but I also enjoy to make production that I would enjoy to watch. I'm sorry to say that, but I like the platform where, okay, we can display a bit more graphics or get audio in a more better way.
I don't think it's really.
Yeah, but that's my point of view.
No, but I think you're being slightly unfair, because this is Desire, isn't it? Am I right? This is Desire's demo.
Desire, yeah.
You see, Desire make the same demo on pretty much every platform. You give Desire a PC, and I'm pretty sure the Desire demo will look like this. So I think, I'm not being critical to Desire, but this is a very, very specific style which they're pursuing. So I think, you know, you can probably make more dynamic demos, or you can probably make demos which will not be quite so full of plasma.
Yeah, I remember Orb created a fantastic demo like 10 years ago on the VIC-20, and there were colors and things like that, and yeah, it was amazing, but not the amazing the way I like it. You know, you spend so much time to make a demo, so, and then I want to spend time on things that, yeah. Anyway, on more advanced things.
Anyways, let's skip to the next demo, or we will run out of time.
Yeah.
And this is your demo, which ended up getting second place. So PHX by Condense, can you tell us a little bit the idea
sure.
of making it?
So it took me 5 years to make this demo, actually.
Oh my god.
So yeah, there was a Fortem that was a previous demo, and Fortem was not using the hardware, and this demo was the first demo that I really tried to use the hardware. So my great friend Overflow from Logan System show me how to make, how to use the hardware, and with that knowledge I was able to create all those effects. And so what I had in mind was to create a demo showing a lot of effects, and so much effect that you could not actually just get bored with that, because it's just showing for 10 seconds and then boom, 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 we switch from effects. And so yes, I had a lot the old school Amiga in mind to make the demo. Of course, it's on the 8-bit, but a lot of effects in the way I did it. I did not wish to make an unstruck demo when I did this, and yeah. That was really nice at the party place, listening to that part at the revision with the strident sound, this sound, and I remember that it was in the complete room with a lot of people watching the demo at the same time, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. For me, it's a fantastic memory. You know, you spend so much time making a demo, and when you can live it, feel it with the other people watching your prod, it's a unique feeling, and I really wish that a lot of people enjoy that.
Yeah, watching it on the big screen is always nice.
Yeah. And you know, people enjoying it and people saying, yeah, that's a good effect, something like that. Yeah, that's
But you know what, I wanted to say something about your demo, because it's very, very old school in heart.
yeah.
But it's also something, it also does something which typically is not done in the old school demos.
Yeah.
Every single effect is kind of zoomed in. I don't know how to explain this differently. So I think it feels like this was some kind of conscious design decision. Pretty much every effect seems to be much lower resolution than usual. I mean, it's high res, but it's zoomed in, so everything is very big.
You know, I love colors, and I prefer big pixel but with lots of color than higher resolution but with few colors. And by the way, this is my preferred screen in the demo. I really enjoyed that because it's technical, not that technical, but it will zoom horizontally, and that's my preferred part. A lot of people usually enjoy other parts, but that's my... I'm proud of the design that I did with this. Yeah. And this thing, I got some comments that it was the worst part of the demo. Okay. But, yeah, this thing is funny because it was an existing effect in the 90s, but I improved it with a lot of color and things like that, and yeah.
And graphics again. That's something that we
Yeah.
don't see.
But also you improved it by watching some C64 demos who started to add scrollers to those things.
Yeah. And this scroller, it's a bit long, but it's a very technical scroller. It's complicated to do because I use more VRAM, video RAM than visually. But yeah, so yeah, and I really enjoy talking about the Specky. So you have factor 6 on the Specky machine, and that was the first time I worked with him, and I really enjoy. Alan is a great guy. I really you know, it's the first time I contacted him. I told him, hey, would you be able to make a cover of the Infected Mushroom? It's a psytrance band, and I asked him to make a cover, and he's not really fan of cover usually. And he just told me, yeah, okay, I will do it. And that was really fine, because when I got the music, the final music, he actually started with the cover I asked, and then went to his own theme. So I was really pleased by the mix of, okay, he did the cover, but also he made some adaptation, and then he goes with his style, and that's exactly what I expected. So that was really great. Yeah.
Seeing the credits here, I just realized I was making a mistake. The article you did with technical stuff from last year's demo was from Logon's Systems demo, not Vanity. Yeah. So I apologize for that.
So yeah, of course, yeah.
So that was my confusion. Okay, so we have one more demo from Revision Old School, which is the winner demo. The one that Pantaloon would be great if you would drop in right now so he could comment about it, but I don't think he will. Fortunately, he had a family emergency to deal with. Nothing serious, just the doctor's appointment getting delayed. But, you know, have to take care of family first. We totally understand. So what were your thoughts when you were watching this demo at Revision?
You know, there is an order in the production. And usually the last demo is supposed to be like the winner. And when I saw that, okay, my demo is presented before their demo, it means that the jury consider maybe that it's a better demo. And okay, so I watch it, and honestly, that demo is really great. I was, you know, about the final results between the two productions. Usually you have a clear winner, but in that case we went like very few votes. If you look at the bars, the horizontal bars for the results, we were almost the same.
Let me check real quick the exact values, if I can find that. Where the fuck is it? Fuck, I can find it. Hold on. Continue.
Yeah, but so, and I saw.
Here we go. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. So We Come in Peace got 1,045 votes, and PHX by Contents got 1,020. The third place got 800 votes. So you're really tied there for the first place.
But no, honestly, they are the winner, and they are the winner for the good reason. Fairlight, being Fairlight and Sensor is also a good reason, I guess. And also on doing that for the C64. You know, the Revision is a German party, and in Germany they historically enjoy the C64 more than the Answer. I don't know if it's, but I don't look much about this thing. And to be honest with you, I'm happy that the winner is a 64 demo, because in the last versions of the Revision, they also made you know, the Mega Drive, the Genesis console, and all those productions were also presented in the same old school compo. And I would have been disappointed if, okay, I'm second because there is the new Titan demo, and okay, so here we are in the compo, old school compos, and there is a better demo, and okay, that was cool with that. And yeah, and the demo itself, it's a great demo once again. But I discussed with the team, and you know, it took them like 4 months to create that demo, and they were multi-coders doing that. And I was like, yeah, you know, I spent my last 5 years on that. Okay. And this effect, I saw him in another Sensor demo, so I was a bit disappointed that they reused some existing effects with that. But well, anyway, it's a great looking effect, but
No, I think I kind of agree. I think this is definitely not the best Firelight demo. I mean, they've set obviously the bar very, very high, so it's very easy for us to sit and just discuss that we've seen better Firelight demos. But I think this is slightly more technical for them than usual, and slightly less human, if you want. And I kind of like the human side more. Even if they always tend to abuse scrollers way too much, but that's maybe just more to do with their platform.
This effect is really what impressed me the most in the party, when you have the two balls and things like that. I really enjoy that.
Yes, but it's not just this. I mean, I think in terms of technical effects, this is unusual for Fairlight. A lot of effects were very special, actually. They use the backgrounds, the sliding backgrounds. I mean, I know how it's done, sensor style things, but sensor never did it this way, so it also looked pretty fresh to me. But you're right, this is the most technical one of them all.
Technical must win. I think we won't have time to watch multimatograph stuff, maybe one demo. So what demo for multimatograph would you prefer watching, Introspec?
Okay, this is, you're putting me into very, very tight position.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
So the reason is there was a massive scandal about this in the Russian scene. So showing just one of the demos is...
Okay, so we'll try to watch two, but that means we have to cut this one now. So I guess we will...
Let's try to watch the first two places, because I think if we don't, it's...
Okay, so yeah, right now we're gonna watch Kumi demo by Kumi Team and Steam Crew. And it's great because it's a Base-X demo. It's not basic, it's Base-X.
Okay.
Well, yes, well...
And you will see how it evolves.
Yes. So this is basically a way to lure people into thinking that this is done for a joke. And it's a big joke demo, basically.
And now suddenly, there are colors that are impossible.
No, these colors are very possible, of course.
So, do these colors also work on the regular 128 if you do a lot of hacks?
Yeah, absolutely. You just need to work with it. But now, once it's smooth, everyone knows it's not basic, really. There's no way you can show this in basic. So what I like this demo for is that, you see, it has some really fresh looking scenes. It's probably not the most technical thing you're going to see now today, but the mixtures of colors, uses of background, a lot of it is very, very unusual. On Spectrum, definitely. Of course, we are very limited in terms of our colors. So the colors you're seeing are unusual because it's using flicker.
Yeah.
This is recorded with some kind of no-flick filter, I assume. But it's actually using flicker to mix colors together. And it uses flicker in every second line, so this way the flicker is actually not too dramatic, so you don't have to go and buy new glasses after watching it. As you have to do with some demos nowadays.
Yeah, your comments are really interesting. Yeah.
So anyway, so they're showing some demos, say some kilos, and this is where they do some kind of change of gear. So they want to show something very, very different. Oh, by the way, this is music which is from one of the Russian really, really tiny kids animation. So they're using this style, and this monsters, they're actually from this animated film.
Ah, okay.
So it's also, so it's childlike because it's designed to be childlike.
Vote. I will never write that in one prediction.
Well, they write it because this is a joke demo, so they are making jokes, I suppose. And they are saying this is the last demo they're going to make. Well, we don't really know how true that is. And they are going to meet a Robust, which is a famous demo scene in Russia, who made some really, really cool demos. And now they are presenting themselves.
Loading.
So you see the loading font is using the font from the across the edge.
Okay.
The best demo at Chaos Constructions 2 years ago.
By
and now
Demoscene?
that was by Dimash, that's right. And now they are showing the titles from Kraski demo, which took first place in 2016, I believe. So in Kraski demo, this is a very dynamic scene with a lot of things flying around, and they've slowed it down, and everything is kind of not really moving smoothly. And this is the whole point they're trying to make. So they're kind of making jokes that they are almost Kraski, but maybe not quite. And you can see there's a lot more color and a lot better mixing. So this is using interlace simultaneously with flickering, so you get really, really fine control of colors.
Cool.
And once again, this is not really working on ZX 128, but the majority of it can be done on 128. So this is basically just waiting for somebody to hug the demo. And maybe can we show? I don't know how much time you've got. Can we show the next demo?
Yeah, I want to play. Is it Marino that you would like to see?
Yeah, that would be nice because these two demos came very close.
I will play it now because we are late on time. I should end now, but I want to show this last demo just to make things even and not cause a drama on the Russian scene. So what was the competition between these two?
So the competition is that this demo which you're now watching took first place, and it's in a very different gear, I would say. So you see this is a demo which is written for the child which was born for one of the Demosceners. The Demoscene organized in multimatograph. It's a demo with his son, basically. And they try to make it very personal, and they try to make it very warm and friendly.
But is this for the 128K or
once again, there's 128. There's nothing enhanced, but okay. Once again, it's recorded without flicker, so that our eyes are not suffering quite as much.
Okay.
So you see, it's trying to talk to the child.
I like when the audio is mixed with the effect.
Absolutely. So because they felt this is a very personal gift, they didn't really want to release the binary. So they showed the demo of the real computer. Everyone in the party could see it, could watch it, but they're not releasing the binary, because of various really nasty things which are happening in the Russian scene. So they said this is going to be a personal gift just to one man who gets it. And this is where a lot of controversy came about. So people started to say this is not a real demo, this is animation on YouTube. And of course it's really not an animation on YouTube, but it wasn't released as binary.
I'm sorry we are short on time, so I have to wrap things up. So thank you guys, norecess and introspec, for joining us. Thank you all of the guys on the chat also for joining us, and our regular Patreon supporters: Garfield, Punctured, Jeff, Poljamp of Pete, Jakob Hamuskiel, Topo, Fulcrum, Pixel Nerve, Paul Falcão, and the new one, Get It, Wessendorf. So thank you guys so much for your support. We'll see you on the next show. Don't forget to stay tuned to SceneSat, switch up to radio. There will be a show by Truck playing sounds of SceneSat. It will be like a full 4-hour show throughout the rest of the afternoon. So stay tuned for that, and see you next time. And I guess we can just wait for this demo to end. Hey Blaus, thank you for the follow.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
That was funny. It was a shame that Pantalon couldn't be here, but you know, family always comes first, so we totally understand that. Yeah, if you want to check out the thing that Truck will be doing next afterwards, it's scenesat.com. Just go there, click on listen, and you will be taken to the audio stream. The video stream is also usually played on SceneSat. That's why we tried not to clash the time schedules for this particular event that they were having. Yes, Truck, you can start the show now.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye everyone. Take care. See you next
Bye
time.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye. That was nice.